Nice stream.
So, they're back again in the streaming business. And, well, let me first say I got a new build on my PC, so I have to check if everything is working right. So, you should hear me. I have now an Intel processor instead of AMD processor. It's a very new build, which will give me, well, a lot of more stuff. I can stream in HD quality, etc. So let's first test it out with Rome. Yeah, let's just start Total War Night 42 now. So in this stream I will start the new settlements. Berlin. And that's because if you set the sound settings, I can hardly hear myself. So I want to update Total War Night 42 again, because a patch was released recently which breaks the campaign somehow, and I haven't tested myself because I have a lot of other things to do. So for the German settlements, Berlin is the latest one, which is a huge settlement, of course, and I already used the base from the border. As you can see, it's a huge city with some placeholders from the start. I'll remove that soon. So we have an empty settlement, and that's because I already used the largest underlay and overlay of the settlement, as you can see here. Let me show the size of it. There's a maximum border somehow, because I use a border generation tool, and well, for the walls it's very easy to use. And I, for the Gizeh from Antiquity, I used that wall setup, so I can use it for my German youth city, which is of course nice. So I won't need to create an overlay, underlay, and the borders myself. So for each youth settlement, I will now use the maximum border line. But we will start, of course, with searching. I will do it up this screen. Let's start with going to the settlement plans, German youth city. I have to drag everything to my left screen. So I already have the underlay and overlay. The underlay will of course be changed whenever I have, like for example, buildings which have an underlay itself, so I need to make a gap in the underlay, or like the Berlin map, I will use the template from World of Tanks, which is a relatively new map. and I will show you how I will do it in a second. But first, the board is already done. The gateway slots are done. The plaza, of course, this building will be. Let's just disable it for now, all of them. And the youth city collision will also be done. So we have now an empty city. And the gate slots into flat town. It's just a road joiner. I might need to change that as well. Okay, but now we have the overlay loaded, and to change the settlements, it's always nice to have different Druidus Max files. So I have the German youth city overlay over here, and I have the underlay in my objects tag tree, so I can easily know that I can't go out of the border. So the first thing I want to do is I want to search for the World of Tanks city map. Oh. Yep. Yes. Here it is. Can use this one, which has a lot of housing. Yeah. So let's use it. Go into Photoshop and remove the borders. And of course we are in Rome to the war, so things are normally to be different than of course World of Tanks will be. But, well, make it even. Apply. So we now have texture, basic texture, and we save it under DDS formats. We name it Berlin map. Alright, so if we now go into Druidus Max, we can load the underlay. Instead of this grass floor, I will Berlin map. So, this will be our German settlement, and we can then go start digging. And, well, of course, we have to change some things. Like, over here we have some housing and a lot of terrain over here. But we can clearly see the roads, and this over here, this part is the bunker. I will make a new model for the bunker. And this is the Reichstag over here. And this might be a very interesting city map. And of course we are in Rome to the war, so we have to do with slots, building slots. And we will use the large city slots. So the thing is, I think I will start with the river. And when I'm done with the river, the S underlay, I can make bridges. And when I have bridges, I can start loading it and see if it actually works. So how we will do the river? That one is hard indeed. Because we have to do with walls, and the walls are some place around here. And how are we going to do that? Let me think. We can just start with creating the river. Yeah, that should do. So the river. I can create a plane with a lot of length segs and width segs. And the segs, make it 15. Remember, it is an underlay, so the game will load it as a model. So we're actually creating a model over here of the river. So oh, this section here as well. Interesting. We set the C height to 0.1. We then set the X chord to 0. We look for this X chord, which is 704, and this is negative 704. So we make sure the sides are 704 as well, and negative 704. So here we go. Hey Lanjana, welcome to the stream. I'm streaming again, and I'm going to make a city map for Berlin, which is only one huge settlement for the war 1942. And yeah, I started with the river. I'm using the Berlin map from World of Tanks as a base guideline, which is of course historical accurate. It will be quite hard settlement modding, of course. So we have plane, and we are now working in the overlay, which is of course not what we meant to do. So we set this, delete this one, and this is the underlay. We save this underlay, and I use the underlay for creating the terrain like normal settlements, and I use the overlay for placing buildings. I can show you an example of it. Italian city overlay. Yeah, well, this is a lake, of course. The Italian Abbey. Yeah, this is an example. In Rome.war you are working with slots. And of course you can drag all buildings one by one. And you can just use buildings one by one, but I prefer setting the buildings in the slots, like Rome.war does itself. German house. I haven't done this in a while, so let me check. Yeah, whatever. Uh, let's go to the underlay again. Yes. Well, this pink is actually a new plane. Yeah, I'm doing stuff quite wrong here. Now, let's delete this one. It's better. Shaded materials to maps. So we're working in the underlay, and the underlay always have an outline and the underlay. And the outline is just a flat plane with four vertices, and the underlay is a detailed object. I'm having an image on it right now, but for example, it's normally a bigger plane with holes and everything inside. So to come to your question, Landiana, I'm creating this plane over here to create the outline of the river. And the river will be lower than the underlay. So I will do that first and then cut it off the underlay itself, which is quite a big task actually. And of course I'm not a very big 3ds Max skiller. So the I coordinate is 672. Not the underlay, the plane. So I can now continue with deleting unnecessary vertices. So I can delete those. I can delete those. Mm. I'm thinking now if there isn't a better way to do it. Mm. Yes, I'm marking the river now, and I can do it differently. I will do it differently because I will show you how I will do a river. So I have, let's just create a plane, a small plane. This will be a huge object, by the way, because I have a lot of vertices. But for example, I can use the soft selection and if I'm building a plane here and let's say I want this section to be the bottom part. So of course I will drag it down here and we will have a river. And when I use soft selection, I can pinch it to 20. Mm. Oh, interesting. Well, for the German youth city, this plane is the largest I could create that the game could actually load. Um, and I have the border as well. I used it for the antiquity mods to create Gizeh, which is of course pyramids. And the border is the largest I could create in the settlement wall editor. So I use the wall that program as a reference to create this plane. I'm not sure if it could be any bigger, but I think it's quite close. And to show it to you, this is the size of the city now with the current state. So it's quite huge place. And of course, those buildings are there from the start, before I actually started the German settlements. So this is larger than the area of the Roman youth city. And of course, it's Berlin, it should be huge. So let's close the game now. So I'm thinking there should be an easier way to do this thing. So let's create plane again. And we make it this section again. The X chord was 704. And this the negative of 704. I tested it, and the answer is I don't know. I haven't actually modded that much battlefields, but I know for a city, this should be one of the largest settlement sizes of the underlay and the overlay. So let's call this river plane, and we isolate the selection, we clone it, and we then select the plane and we'll make a box of it. Then we make it down so it will lower than the C0. And you might be questioning what the hell is he doing? Well, let me explain. There is an option in 3ds Max which uses Boolean, and it's quite useful. So you can delete any objects from the plane. For example, if I create a box over here with this size, height 20. So this is a box. Convert it to mesh. Oh, the sizes are alright. I need a bigger box with more sizes. Let's have this corner. Height 60, 10 and 10, and 2 heights. Alright. Set the C to -5. So I have now a box. And we have this plane with a lot of vertices. I could then use this beautiful extended primitives compound objects, I believe, Boolean. I pick the box I created, and as you can see, I now have a gap in my plane with the size of the box I deleted. And if I create it, just the vertices are completely gone inside the box. Why would you use it? Well, for example, if I set this vertex to be here, this one to be here, that's quite useful. Delete this one. No, I don't need to delete it. Just make it so. All right. And because it's a box, as you can see, it can be quite useful to use this function. And if you are planning to edit settlements yourself, be prepared. It's a quite time-wasting, busy thing to do, and you might want to actually love it. And 704. This will be 704. Yeah. All right. How big was the box? All right. Pick. Quite interesting. Okay, well, it should work when I should. No, it's good, of course, and I did everything wrong. The plane again, yes. No, wait a second. It's not quite that bad. Oh, it actually is good this way. Never mind. Convert it to mesh. And we have cut one part of the river. Okay. Let's create a new box. And let's do this half. We need to make a box with less segments. Weld vertices. And how should I do it in this panel? As I said before, I'm not that good in 3ds Max. Yeah, that was good last time. I'm not sure how to work with it. Okay. It's just a box anyway, so. I see. Sometimes this is not working, so then you have to select and delete. Delete them manually. So this part of settlement modding is quite boring. If you're using Boolean, you need to pick the plane or object you want to cut something out from. Then you pick operand B and you select the box. And then you can do A minus B or B minus A, whatever. So this time I did A minus B. It doesn't have to be this perfect though. Alright. So Lanjana, I might need you in a moment. Because I'm not um, good in, for example, adding vertices to a certain point. All right. Well, let's say we have this river. I now have a river plane. Delete this one. So I now need to add vertices manually at the bottom here, so I can drag them out. So I'm not sure if this is working. Well, so I need to connect those vertices. Alright, well, one thing we need to do now is actually the same as we did before, but then with the underlay. So we save the file a bit, the outline and the underlay. We can actually, the outline is it as well. So we have the plane, this is the underlay, and we have this plane as a thing that needs to be erased from the underlay plane and added after it as a river. So we make a copy of it, a clone. We call it, well, whatever. This is okay. We select the faces. We do extrude like this. We lower it down. Not the plane, but the wall objects. We then select the underlay. We do a boolean. So that's one problem. Sometimes the subtraction is not working. Then you need to do a union, convert it. It's still selected, but we can now delete. No, that didn't work that good. Okay, that's weird. Something weird happened. Why is this broken? Weird. Maybe need to create a more playing with more sides. Okay. Aha, that's better. Alright, so we have now this underlay with the river hole inside, which of course need to be connected and exported as one single underlay. But this way you can have better Let's just have a look how this will look. It probably is broken, but whatever. Yeah, selected one, this one, this one, this one, this one. Oh, you can now have some hills. But whatever, let's give it a try now. If we now merge the underlay with the river plane and export it, we should now have in-game some kind of river. Ah, here's the river. It's quite a wide river, of course. So here we have one entry. There should be a bridge over here. This line should be down as well. This entry. So you can't have a river going underneath the walls, of course. So the river should end at the sides of the city. All right. Control C, Control C. So we need a copy of this plane for the overlay. And the overlay will be some kind of transparent water. So we water line. This should not be included in the underlay. So I need some polygons now. And this section, of course, is a gate. So we can't make this part a river. But, well, I don't mind actually. But we'll see. So I need to add vertices. So we make it editable poly. Alright, just doing some things. All right. Oh, they're already selected. That is nice. So we open the overlay. Huge city overlay, yes. We then merge the underlay section of the waterline. There we go. Zero, 5. Well, just make it -1. Remove this part. And we give it water. Dark blue. Yes. Unwrap UV. Okay. Convert. And we export this as Huge city overlay. Then we go to the underlay again. Delete. Underlay. Add the river plane. Delete the underline, and we can export this. So let's have a look. So we should now see the water line. There we go. A little bit transparent. So most parts of the river is quite correct now. But like these lines here, need to get rid of those. And of course the people are just wandering through. So we have this entrance here, which is the north entrance. So we'll make a bridge right over here. And this isn't good as well. So I need to change the gates and paste it somewhere like here. This section is not good. And over here, flying there. Takes a lot of time as well. So this gateway is actually at a decent position. So we'll start over here. Uh, 3ds Max. Okay. Yeah, this section is messed up. So we will have a look at it. Then we have 2 lines over here. Which are these. A lot of happening is here. But that should be underwater. Just add some more vertices. Well, it's quite time consuming indeed. So I will continue with this now. I'll stop the stream. It's not quite boring now. I'll create the basic things, and after that I will stream it when I will place the buildings again. And well, that part is more interesting. And this is just getting things working as usual. And yeah, well, got to eat soon as well. So thank you at least, Lanjana, for the help. I will have look into the things you mentioned of welding vertices. Will be nice if I can use that as well. Thank you for that, and well, I hope I can see you in the next stream.